Goalie terms, part 2, letters M to Z, or Z if you're Canadian. We're going to cover goalie terminology today. We're also going to look at Sheffy in a 5-hole pull and battle drill, which is a great drill for you if you got problems on that chaos situation where pucks are in front of the net, where guys are sifting it back 3 or 5-hole. We're also going to sit down with Sprance and continue talking about beer league goalies. Some advice for you, the unique challenges you face as a beer league goalie. We're also going to give you some tips on how to prepare so your performances are much better. We're also going to hear a little funny story about a 43-year-old trying to make the NHL out of the beer leagues. All right, we're going to continue on with our discussion with goalie terminology. But before we get into it, please subscribe to my videos. You subscribing helps motivate me to keep making these videos and putting the hours and the time in to create these products for you to help us get through the pandemic. So please subscribe when you have a moment. So let's get into part 2 of the goalie terminology. Number 16, paddle down. Now, obviously, we know what that is. You put the paddle of the stick on the ice. It came to fruition towards the end of my career in the late 80s, and actually Eddie Belfour, when he started using paddle down, he was using the paddle down on wing slappers. So with any save selection or new input in the position, we have to understand when you use it, when you don't use it, and the benefits. So paddle down is just laying the paddle flat on the ice. Works great on wraparounds, and it's integral as part of the RVH approach to stop pucks coming near your net. Number 17, paddle height. The NHL, you're only allowed to have a max of 26 inches in the paddle height. And from brand to brand, they're going to vary, where a Vaughn 26-inch paddle might be different than a true 26-inch. So you have to check to see how they fit you. Problem, if you have too big of a paddle, you're going to have a big, gaping 6-hole in your armpit. And if it's too small, you have a tough time getting that stick to fill the 5-hole when you're down in the butterfly. But one tip on stick and paddle sizing, size it in your butterfly, not in your upright stance. That's a good tip on how to pick the proper paddle. Number 18, planting the back foot. As the play moves laterally in front of you in an emergency situation, a lot of times goalies will plant their back foot, and as the play migrates across, what ends up happening is you open up, you extend, and you end up on your butt. So in most cases, if you see a goalie on his butt, it's because he planted the back foot. Number 19, reading the situation, also known as connect the dots, intelligent anticipation. We've got lots of goalies that can do great things at private lessons and in practice, but when it actually comes to reading the play and playing the game, becomes a big challenge to apply the abilities you have in real game situations. So reading the situation means what type of pressure is there away from the puck? Who's the personnel? What's likely going to happen? Now, I don't want goalies to be going around guessing and reading the play hoping something happens, but when you've been doing something long enough and you've been studying critical scoring chances, you can smell that the rock is cooking with your great game reads. Reloading. Basically, that just means when you've moved somewhere, you've made your save, you have to reload, reposition the push foot to get ready to go to the new target location. So reloading is just getting prepared to move to a new target positionally. Save selection. Now, every puck that heads towards the net, you could stop it with your head, your jaw, your glove. There's a million things you could do to stop the puck. But the save selection means using the best save for the situation at hand. Now, that's going to depend on traffic and a bunch of other things, but save selections are things like half pad saves, butterflies, glove saves, and having a good wide variety of save selections that you can use in any given situation certainly helps you. And Marty Brodeur was the king at having a variety of save selections for a given situation. Shuffle simply means moving laterally, small little steps, keeps the 5-hole small, and you keep your toes pointed straight ahead. Now, young goalies sometimes struggle with this because they don't have the muscular strength to manage their edges, especially when you're using properly sharpened skates. So shuffles, incremental little steps with your toes pointing forward. The 6-hole, we talked about that. If you missize your paddle, the 6-hole is your armpit hole. 7-hole on your armpit hole on the glove side. Spectator. Now, this is a term Mitch used to say all the time when you're watching a goalie, play happens, and the goalie doesn't even really move, and he watches the puck goes in the net. Now, this happens to goalies when things happen fast and they didn't make a great read. They become a spectator. So you as a goaltender want to avoid being a spectator. Number 25, square to the puck. Now this is kind of my pet peeve, but being square to something simply means shoulders, toes facing at the puck. You could be the backup goalie and be square to the puck. As long as the puck's coming around in front of the bench, you're facing it. Referee could be square all day long to the puck. Square simply means facing at the puck. T-push. It's another way to move laterally, but instead of shuffles, you open up the lead leg, point your toe where you want to go, and you can cover great distances with great explosion, and you want to use that when a shot's not necessarily imminent. Shuffles for when things might happen quickly, but a pass between point members is a good time to use a T-push. Transition means changing directions. And Mitch Korn used to always say this at the hockey school. Transition. You transition out of dirty underwear into new underwear. As a goaltender, transition just means you move from one area to another area. Just a funny way he had to help the kids remember that transition just means changing direction. Number 28, work ethic. I could do a whole video about work ethic, and I'm sure I already have. W stands for work ethic. And as we talked about last video, the guys that make it don't just work harder than you. They work much harder than you, and their work ethic is way up there. 29, the Y theory. Used on breakaways. Refer back to our breakaway video and you'll see what it means. Basically, you challenge your retreat, you have some flow backwards, and you move left or right depending which way they pull it. And number 30, the final one, zebras. How you manage your relationships with the zebras, the referees, is crucial. Never does any good to be screaming and hollering at them, and I always believed you can play the referee, you can play the zebra by having a communication program with them earlier in the game. Kiss his butt, make small talk, and don't get upset. And when you do need him to make a quick call or a quick whistle, he'll be there for you. Don't be that guy that antagonizes the zebras. It never leads to anything. Got it?
Rebound. Okay, you don't have time to get up here. If you pop back up after that one, somebody's gonna pump you again after. So you're staying down when the rebound's that tight. Good, play it, stay with it. High stiff. Just a little. Hey, hold on. So, his hands are gonna beat your knees. What do we have to do to get that close? Hard knee drive, but also stick. You didn't move your stick. He pulled it around it and went underneath as your knee was driving to the ice. All you have to do, get in your stance. When he pulls it left or right, is just this slight turn here or this one here. It's a very small movement, and that's gonna help support your knees before they get down to the ice, okay? There. Stay down. Okay, good battle, but angles. After that first one, where'd your first push go?
Out there.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay, if he's pulling it to this side, you have to pivot and you have to end up here.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't be going straight across, otherwise that leaves a big gap in behind you. So after that first save, whichever way he pulls, pivot, push back on a diagonal. Okay, not bad, okay? You need to commit to that though, right? So you went out on that angle, that's fine. He went around you and you tried to throw the stick behind your back. Commit, fully roll over there and block the bottom of the ice and make him put it up over top. So I love the battle, but you need to fully commit to it, right? We worked on that in the summer a little bit, where we saw Halak do it when he was in the bubble, right? And he did the same thing, pushed it on the wrong angle, but then fully committed to the battle afterwards. It covered the whole bottom of the ice. Because a lot of these times when they think they have your back turned and wide open net there, they're gonna slide it in because they don't want to take chances either of raising that puck. Right. So if you slide over and cover the bottom, you're making them make a harder shot. So fully commit, cover the bottom on that battle. Good, stay with them, stay with them. Nice try, nice try. Two more. Okay, Hunter, go grab a couple more pucks. We're gonna do a couple more shots on this, okay? You need to be a little more active with your stick.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like coach.
Yeah, right? So your pushing and stuff is good, but you can only push so fast when a shooter's got good hands, okay? But you have to make their hands work a little harder by going out around you and going further out. You need to be more active with that stick. If he's stick handling 3 times in front of you, throw a stick out there so he's got to go around it, right? Turn your stick over. When he's trying to go from the glove side to the blocker side, if you turn it over this way, he's got to go all the way around that overturned stick.
Yeah.
This is timing. But if he's coming across this way and you stick out the back end there, he's got to go all the way around that, right? So be a little more active with that to make him work harder, and it gives you more time to actually move and get into position, right? It's more about giving you time. If you can get it off his stick, that's great, that's a bonus. But it gives you more time to get where you need to go, right? Because in tight there, if you let him dangle around your feet there, he's gonna beat you, right? He's faster than you can push.
Yeah. Further to what he's saying, so like here in the butterfly right here, he's got his stick here. You cannot let him bring it through here.
No,
because even if you miss with the stick, you still got your pad there, but it's going to force him, like Spront said, to come wider.
And it gives you time.
You can't let a guy pull it in within a foot away.
Yeah, okay, so 5 or 6 more, right? And Hunter knows you're gonna poke check more, but it's not necessarily about whether he knows it or not. It's about giving you more time to get there, okay? Here we go. Good. Good battle, yep. No, good. 3 more. 2 more, get some active stick here, active sticks. 2 more, come on. We need some rebounds here. We actually need rebounds here. Play it, good stick. Last one. Okay, good enough.
The beer leagues. A lot of people that follow my channel are playing adult rec goalie, beer league, and that's where we all end up. And as I've said many times to kids, it's not if you're going to end up in the beer leagues, it's when. So for those guys that are already in the beer leagues, we want to help you out. We want to talk a little bit about what you face. And for beer league goalie, and you've played beer leagues, I've played beer leagues, what do you think the biggest challenge is being a beer league goalie?
Outdated styles, not being able to perform like you did when you were younger, not being able to do the same moves while you were there, and a lot of unrealistic game situations where you end up with 2-on-1s, breakaways, 2-on-0s, because the guys out there are just out there to have fun and not necessarily out there to protect you and your best interests.
Don't want to play defense. And you've got a wide variety of talent in almost every beer league skate I've seen. You've got the benders, and you've got the guy that's just got to score 30 goals because he's still trying to make the NHL. And that's a funny topic. I'd played beer league one time, and the guy that owned the Tim Hortons was trying too hard. And I was actually working for the Leafs at the time, and I brought the Leaf laptop right out to the bench. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, you're obviously still trying to make the NHL at 46. I'm putting a report in for the Toronto Maple Leafs." The other thing with beer leagues, on another note, is goalies don't properly warm up. You know, a lot of times you're like, "Oh, I've had 3 beers. I'm going to head to the rink." You get there, and all of a sudden you're in the net 5 minutes into the skate, and you haven't warmed up yet. So have some semi-professionalism on that. Spend a half an hour before you even leave for the rink to get yourself loosened up. And that way you can hit the ground running, and you'll end up having a better experience as a beer league goalie. Now, next topic with beer league goalies. Your equipment isn't going to help you stop more pucks. It's like me as a golfer, you as a golfer. We're both brutal. If we get brand new drivers, it's not going to make it slice any less. And I think a lot of times goalies love equipment. It's a huge focus. Look at the cool gear, the E-Flex. Cool equipment's great, and it can help some performance things. But really, it's not going to make you a better goalie.
No, but we're not saying don't go out and get new equipment. You don't need any because you're just playing in the beer leagues either. The new gear will help protect you. So if your old equipment is breaking down and you're getting hurt in the beer leagues, that's not worth it either. So get new gear if you need new gear to protect you, but it's not going to all of a sudden make you a lot better in the beer leagues.
And then the final point with the beer leagues about that topic is You see online stuff at Instagram, YouTube, the RVH, the VH, the new styles. Play what you did when you were younger and maybe play around with a little bit of that. But I think if you try to reinvent your game as an adult, you're just going to be having frustration. And I think as a golfer, it would be the same thing. If I try to learn to swing the wrong hand, which is a dramatic change, it would be useless. So pick and choose some techniques to play with, but don't try to reinvent your game because you saw Vasilevsky do it to win the Stanley Cup.
You got to remember that the guys you see in the pros and the guys you see even on Instagram that are working with these goalies and coaching them and showing these new techniques are normally doing it with high-level athletes too. And if you're not in really good shape, some of these things aren't going to be able, or you're not going to be able to do them. You physically have to be able to do them. You physically have to be able to bend and stretch and move in certain ways. And if you're trying to do the RVH and all of a sudden you pull something in your hip or your knee or because it's uncomfortable, yeah, it's because you might not be a high-level athlete anymore. And some of these are only meant for those athletes that can do these professional movements.
I've done the RVH once in my life, and that was on my honeymoon. Still recovering. Last thing, we'll wrap this up. Do you have any funny stories that are not X-rated that you could mention about me?
What do you want? Like personal stories? You want camp stories? You want
anything that people would look at me and think I'm a bigger goof than I already am?
Do we want to tell a camping story?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Tell a camping story. I'd love to hear this. One day at band camp.
So we used to travel all over the place to do camps. A lot of times we do more local things now, or if we do travel somewhere, we'll stay in a hotel. However, Keeks used to be real cheap with his money.
That's how you get one of those.
Used to, yeah. And so we would camp. And he went to Canadian Tire and he bought 4 camping tents and a whole bunch of air mattresses, and we'd blow them up and everybody would have to bring their own food and everybody would have to, on the Coleman camp stove. Well, the one night, there were a bunch of raccoons going through everybody's coolers and food and getting into tents and getting stuff. And this went on for a couple of nights and the staff members just didn't like it anymore. They're like, come on, we need to go stay somewhere else. We gotta do this. He goes, no. I got a better idea. So they may have went to the local Walmart, the superstore, and grabbed some steaks, some paintball guns, some halogen lights, and they set up a sting operation. So they set out some of these steaks and this food for these raccoons to come and set them up in an area where they could be accessible. And they laid down in the truck and they waited. Once they heard the food being consumed, they flipped on the halogen lights and the raccoons froze. A couple guys popped up with some paintball guns, scared them away. They ran away into the woods and didn't bother them for the rest of the week. So some of the fun that we had around the goalie school was camping, was doing some road trips and stuff. And if you want more of those stories, you can contact us and we'll give you some more.
Now, was there any Crown Royal involved in that?
Maybe.